Alrighty, guys, today I'm doing the predictions for week 6 a little differently. I'm house sitting at my grandparents' house. It's almost 1 in the morning. I am absolutely exhausted. I just got home from work, but I haven't had time to film it at all. So I'm going to do this one in shorts format. I'm going to film it like a bunch of shorts, keep them under 1 minute long. This is going to be a quicker predictions video, but I know I skipped last week, was not in the right headspace, but this is the only way that I can do it. I am very, very mentally exhausted and just haven't had time to do it all week with college and stuff with this specific video. With that said, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what is your predictions for week 6 of the NFL. And here are my quick reactions. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chicago Bears. Jacksonville got their first win last week, and it was a good win. It was a good game against the Indianapolis Colts. I don't feel as if they're as bad as they were a couple weeks ago, but I don't really feel as if they're like the best football team that they could be, so don't really have faith in them all that much. I do have more faith in the Chicago Bears, even though every time that they're good and all the wins they got, they were against bad teams like the Carolina Panthers, Tennessee Titans. So I don't know if I have faith in the Bears, but I do have faith that they will beat Jacksonville. Caleb Williams is looking better. I still don't think that he's necessarily good, but he's looking better than he has. So I do think it will be enough to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Washington Commanders versus the Baltimore Ravens. Washington is my dad's pick to win the Super Bowl. I don't think they'll be that good, especially because Jayden Daniels is a rookie quarterback. And I do think that this is the first week that his team will be fully tested, except maybe against the Bengals. Who do I think is going to win this one? Lamar Jackson had a phenomenal game last week. Baltimore has been hot. They started 0-2. Now they're 3-2. Definitely think that a normal person would think that Baltimore would win this game, but the Commanders have been hot. I do think that this is the first test for Jalen Hurts, and some weird part of me does feel as if, not Jalen Hurts, but Jayden Daniels. Some weird part of me thinks that Jayden Daniels will conquer this test and get a dub over the Baltimore Ravens. It might be, this is going to be my upset pick of the week. This is my upset pick of the week, but I am going the Washington Commanders over the Baltimore Ravens. The Arizona Cardinals and the Green Bay Packers. I think I would definitely choose the Packers to win this one. Arizona how am I saying this? They have pulled some major upsets so far this year. Does that mean I think that they will win against the Green Bay Packers? Not really. Green Bay hasn't been as strong as they were last year. Jordan Love hasn't looked as good, but he has still had some great games. Got a dub last week against the Rams. I could totally see Arizona coming out of this, beating the Packers, but for now, I think the safe pick would be the Green Bay Packers taking the dub here. Even though I haven't really seen anything super special out of them, they still have a winning record. They're still a solid football team. I do still think that they will get the dub here against Arizona. The Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. Houston is not as good as they were last year. I still don't feel as if C.J. Stroud is putting up as good numbers as he did last year, but he is still playing solid football, leads his team to a 4-1 record, beat the Buffalo Bills last week in a nice game, so they're playing the New England Patriots, could not beat the Miami Dolphins. I thought at the beginning of the year that they looked solid enough, but boy, was I wrong. They're not a good football team. This is an easy pick. The Houston Texans is still a great football team. They are phenomenal. They're having a great season so far, and I'm going to expect that this is going to be a huge blowout. Hey, Colorado just picked the ball off against Kansas State. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. No, he fell at the 20. What an idiot. Anyways, I'm choosing the Texans to win. Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Baker Mayfield played like a top 3 quarterback last week. He was absolutely phenomenal, just throwing up numbers last week. So did the Atlanta Falcons, but we'll talk about them later. The New Orleans Saints looked great to start the season, have not done anything since. They're now without Derek Carr. He faced an injury against my Kansas City Chiefs last week, so this is pretty much an easy pick for me. I'm going the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, they're still looking phenomenal. They've had a couple of hard losses, a blowout against Denver, but then last week was just a really close game, and if it wasn't for the terrible overtime NFL rules, they probably would have won that game. So, I mean, all of my faith that I have in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has not dwindled at all. All of my faith that I had in the New Orleans Saints starting the year has dwindled because they just have not been playing like a competent football team. This is easy. I'm going Tampa Bay with the dub. The Cleveland Browns and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cleveland Browns have looked terrible. Deshaun Watson, terrible. Nick Chubb not expected to return till week 7, so that's terrible. The wide receiver core, terrible. The defense, terrible. Philadelphia has not looked too good either. I feel like Philadelphia definitely, after the 10-1 start to last year, has definitely fallen off. Don't even know if I'll trust them to make the playoffs this year, but it doesn't matter. They're playing Cleveland. This is going to be an easy win for Philadelphia, unless Cleveland just pulls something out of the hat trick. But, I mean, Cleveland really hasn't played good football at all. Philadelphia has played flawed football, but it's still good football. It's an easy pick. I'm going Philadelphia to win. Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. The Colts lost to Jacksonville Jaguars officially cemented in my mind that they are not a good football team, which sucks because I'm always rooting for them. Anthony Richardson's out, but Joe Flacco is still putting up numbers. Just like the Carolina Panthers and Andy Dalton, even though the whole team's not as good, they are still putting up numbers. And so now they face the Tennessee Titans. You know me, I hate the Titans. I think they suck. I never choose them to win. It's easy. I'm going the Colts to win. The Titans, they got a dub against the Miami Dolphins without Tua, where they're definitely not at their best. So, I mean, I just don't have any faith within this team whatsoever to get a dub here against Indianapolis. And even though Indianapolis still has been rough, I still think that they're going to get the dub here and maybe try to turn. Divisional matchup between the Chargers and the Broncos. The Broncos, their quarterback Bo Nix has been looking solid, much better than he had at the very beginning of the season. They got a couple dubs, actually more than a couple. They got 3 dubs in a row. They're now 3-2 football team. So now they're playing the Los Angeles Chargers. And the Los Angeles Chargers just started off the season strong, but then they kind of fell off, being 2-2. Their week 5 was their bye week. So this really just comes to the position of, do we think that the Chargers can get back on track? Do we think that Justin Herbert, with his almost non-existent offense, can get back on track? I do not. I do think that they got a good defense, but the Broncos also have, I think, probably the best defense in the NFL right now. I think that for sure I would go with the Denver Broncos to win this one against a struggling Chargers offense. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Vegas Raiders. The Raiders have not really done anything. They've got a couple of surprising wins, but besides that, there's the cat. Besides that, I mean, they're just really the biggest hit or miss team in the league right now. They are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have had misfortune. They started off undefeated, then lost a couple in a row. So, I mean, last week just didn't really help them with the Dallas Cowboys. But I still think they're solid. They still played a solid game. Their defense still had a solid game against the Dallas Cowboys. So I do think that they're going to get the dub against the Vegas Raiders, who are a very hit-or-miss team. I can never pick the Raiders to win a game because they are a very hit-or-miss team. Their wins have been huge wins, but they never look like a good football team. So that's just the hard part of talking about the Vegas Raiders for me. So I do think that the Pittsburgh Steelers get the dub here. The Falcons and the Panthers. This could be probably the easiest pick of the week for me. I'm going with the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons, Kirk Cousins looked like prime Peyton Manning or prime Tom Brady or prime literally any good quarterback out there. He looked phenomenal last week. Andy Dalton has been looking good. I'll say it. But last week they kind of got blown out against the Chicago Bears, which is pretty surprising. The cat just threw my pizza box on the floor. But anywho, the Carolina Panthers they're with Andy Dalton, they're probably like the most hit or miss team, honestly, and I don't really feel as if they're going to get a hit this week, especially against a tough Falcons team that first week I thought they weren't going to be anything, but they completely switched the season around, and I think that they're contenders in the league and probably going to not win their division, but they're probably going to be second in the division, get to the playoffs. So I think they get the W against the Panthers. Detroit and Dallas. Detroit is a team that I thought was very hit or miss at the very beginning of the season. I didn't know if they'd come back and prove to how good of a team they are. They 100% have. They've looked like a very good team. They're going up against this Cowboys team that I think has not looked good at all. I mean, their record might state otherwise, but their wins have been very sloppy wins. I don't think that Dallas looks as good as a lot of people think they are. I don't think they even got the moniker to be called them boys. They almost lost against the Giants. They almost lost against the Steelers. They have just not been a good football team. So I will obviously think that the Detroit Lions, who have just looked absolutely solid, Jared Goff has been on point. Amon-Ra St. Brown finally snapped it together and has just been solid. He's had some great trick plays this season. He is phenomenal. The whole team has just been looking really strong, and I do think that they're going to get this dub against the Dallas Cowgirls. Monday Night Football, the Cincinnati Bengals and the New York Giants. Do I really feel as if the New York Giants can beat the Bengals? I feel like they could. They could pull away the upset here. Do I feel like they will? No, not really. The Bengals looked great. Joe Burrow, for a team that's 1-4, he's playing like the front-runner MVP. I think he's been phenomenal. He's up there with Jaden Daniels. So, I mean, Joe Burrow just needs to lead this team, and this team needs to just snap together. For once, I don't think Burrow's the problem with the Cincinnati Bengals team. And that's saying a lot because I don't like Joe Burrow because I'm a Chiefs fan. But I do definitely think that Burrow is playing phenomenally, and I don't really think he'll let up against the Giants. The Giants aren't a tough team like the Ravens are, like anyone else is, so I definitely do think that the Bengals will get the dub here. I would not be surprised if the Giants do, though. And our Monday night game, the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. New York Jets just fired Robert Saleh, so I could see a bit of a change in their pace this year. Still don't think it'll necessarily be a great change of pace. I definitely do still think that the Bills will win. Their coaching got awful last week. I don't know what that was, but it was complete stupidity. So, I mean, even though they haven't been playing their best, they started off 3-0, now they're 3-2. I do still think that they'll easily get the dub against the Jets, kind of maybe start turning things around. Josh Allen, I swear to God, if he does not have like a 5-touchdown game against this Jets team, I will be absolutely pissed. But, I mean, this is an easy pick. I do think that the Bills are going to win this one pretty easily. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to my Week 6 NFL predictions. Sorry for the format. It'll just be much easier for me to edit and honestly much easier for me to film, especially considering that it's 1 a.m. I'm exhausted, but I still got it out to you guys. So, again, comment down below with your predictions for Week 6, and stay tuned for Week 7 next week. Peace out.